and welcome back to this episode of Bali Insiders.
This week we have Simon Digby on the show. Now, Simon is an ex-DJ, hospitality entrepreneur from Melbourne who is working on some super very cool.
He will probably hate to be described as
Cool,
because he's beyond cool.
But very cool projects
yeah.
Here in Bali, particularly out at Pererenan at the moment.
Yep.
So we're going to tell you all about what to expect from his new further diffused hotel, and you'll learn what a diffused hotel is, like we did.
Welcome, Simon. Thank you so much for being on Bali Insiders
today.
Thanks
for having me.
Now, we are going to start with our fast 5 questions.
Okay.
Ready? You can answer them really quick.
Yeah, stop us.
Yeah. I have to read them. I have to say them quickly as well. When did you first visit Bali?
20 years ago.
What's your favourite area of Bali?
Pererenan.
What's your favourite restaurant in Bali?
Barbera. Sorry.
What's your favourite local food?
Warong Dua Umalas.
Yeah. What do you love most about Bali?
People.
It's always the most common answer, isn't it? People.
It's so beautiful.
It's always the people.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to know today all about what led you to Bali and doing business in Bali. So if you can take us back a little bit about you visited 20 years ago, you're living here now with your family. What kind of led to the life in Bali, moving from Melbourne?
How long we got?
Yeah.
I'll rewind 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I got married to my wife, who's still my beautiful wife. And
congratulations.
that's an achievement in itself to be married for 20 years, right?
Yes.
So back then, my primary thing I was doing in life was DJing.
Yeah.
So I was DJing all around the world, and I was traveling a lot. So part of our honeymoon, we actually planned around my performance.
Yeah,
so
right.
Working honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
Yeah.
So we visited Croatia, where I played, Slovenia. So we actually got to visit, let's say off the grid countries, and that weren't commonly attracting tourists.
Yep.
And that's where I DJ'd a lot. But a part of the let's call it tour or wedding and honeymoon was let's go back via Bali. And because I also used to play coup d'etat to DJ back there. So when I was DJing in Bali, when I was coming to Bali, I was always DJing coup d'etat.
Yeah. Well, that was probably the only place to DJ back then.
It pretty much was. It was a place called Paparazzi, from memory. There was Double Six, Paparazzi, and coup d'etat.
Yeah.
And then there was La Luce.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's where it all stopped.
Yeah.
And so we met all our friends here, all our friends from Melbourne. This was kind of the meeting point at the end of our honeymoon, and we had 20, 30 of us here. We hired a villa. I was performing a coup d'etat, and that's when we started visiting Bali as a couple.
Yeah.
Christina and I, after that moment. And that was pretty much, I was coming here, I'd be kind of flying in for a week, flying out.
Yeah.
But we stayed here for a bit of time. We both loved it. And it's always good when you're pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
When you both love a place as opposed to only one out of the
Forcing
team.
Yeah.
So from there we visited Bali regularly. And because I had I had the ability to kind of go anywhere in the world and do what I love doing and get income, I always looked at the world as a small place as opposed to I need to go back home to DJ or, and so we always had this global perspective, and we loved Bali a lot. And there was always in the back of our head, what could I do in Bali? Or whatever I'm doing back home, I can do in Bali. And, I then got my teeth stuck into some serious hospitality businesses back home.
Yeah.
Primarily, I'm going to say B&F. Not F&B.
Mm-hmm.
So beverage
you're like a
and
W,
food.
and you're like a W hotel. That's what they have.
Oh, is that what they have?
Yeah,
right.
that's what they have.
Okay,
B&F.
so 90% beverage
and
food just to tickle the appetite.
Yeah.
So my DJ career then went into owning and running nightclubs.
In Melbourne.
In Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I established 3 nightclubs, a wedding venue or an events venue.
Yeah.
So I had a portfolio of venues, which then kind of led me into the position where I was overseeing all of them.
Yep.
I was still hands-on, but more so from a management company.
Yeah.
So I was overseeing, had the right people in the right places.
Yep.
I learned a lot about running businesses. I learned a lot about why they work. But more importantly, if I actually break down what I did, I came up with an idea or a concept, and I turned that into a business, and then got the team, and the right team, and the right people in place.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I started a lot of brands. You know, the brands that I'm talking about. You know, I had a venue called the Lumbra, which was a successful. You probably know it from
I
Melbourne.
know Lumbra.
Yeah.
I know all your venues.
Oh, do you?
actually.
Okay. One ass wide. And
Yes.
so, you know, that was 17 years.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it stopped was because the government needed the land back. But I established really good brands.
Yep.
And brands that kind of don't follow what everyone else is doing. Just we stay in our lane. This is what we do. And, you know, sometimes that is challenging because you're not the coolest venue in town.
Yeah.
But we just kind of always ticked away at what do we need to do. So, and I had a lot of experience setting up brands and navigating through all kind of waters.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so then how did that then lead you
To Bali.
to the move over here?
Yeah, because then I also have friends with really successful brands in Europe.
Yep.
And a particular friend of mine, Thomas, he owns a brand called Scorpios in Mykonos.
Yep. Yep.
And we always, like, I went to a conference with him in LA. And we're at that conference, we're staying together. It was like a creative storytelling, that's the big word in Europe, buzzword.
The
I'm a
storyteller.
storyteller.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of storytellers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking about, I was, you know, with all the crew from Design Hotels and all this stuff. And it just really reconfirmed that Australia's, for me, maybe what I do, it can be done on a global scale.
Yeah.
And Australia I found really removed from the global kind of circuit of hospitality or conceptual businesses that focus in hospitality or tourism.
Yeah.
So Thomas and I really started investigating doing something together in Bali because the conversations were based around, you know, we looked at Tulum, we looked at Ibiza, we looked at places that we think are relevant to what we do.
Yep.
And creating lifestyle moments is probably the best way to bring it into
Describe
a
it,
bubble.
yes.
Yep.
And the thought of going to Tulum was kind of exciting, but, you know, the time zones, you know, I've got a lot of Thai family ties in Australia, so as my wife. We had kids by then.
Yeah.
We had 2 with the 3rd on the way. And Europe, again, time zones, you're really far. And I said, look, for me, what we're looking at is islands that have a good energy or a big influence of energy on the island.
Yeah.
I hate the word spiritual,
But
but let's call them
along
like
those
there's a lot of
lines,
energy in Bali, there's a lot of energy in Tulum, there's a lot of energy in Ibiza. You know, these are all, let's call them iconic islands that attracted people through a healing, a natural healing and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it needed to have that box ticked. It needed to have beautiful sunsets. It needed to have surfing, you know, water, weather, you know, surfing 365 days a year. And I said, look, there's one place I would relocate my family, and it's Bali.
Yeah.
Because it ticks all the elements that we're looking for as far as a landscape and an offering. It's 5 hours from Australia. And with kids, you need to have that ability. If you need to get up and go or need to do something, you can do that. You know? And so that's where my journey started, looking at different sites and different projects that I felt comfortable in Bali. So I was traveling here. I was working in Melbourne, running my management company there. And I was coming to Bali, just meeting with people, looking at land opportunities, looking at businesses. And so I was coming here quite a lot. I didn't even come to Bali for a meeting and fly back home.
Oh, quick one.
Yeah.
Were you?
5 hours.
It's almost
Did
like
you
a
have?
bus ride.
Did you have the concept?
Yeah.
Already, so you knew what business you
No,
wanted
back
to do.
then it was looking at doing a Scorpios or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Either Scorpios or an offshoot of Scorpios
Yeah.
with Thomas and my team back in Europe.
Yeah.
And they've also got the brand Soho House.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're all meeting here, working on something, collaborating.
Yeah.
And a lot of creatives were coming from all around the world. Actually, I just had a flashback. I remember there was one meeting, and this was just before, I think it was COVID was just there was
Stunning.
COVID stuff going around. Yeah, someone from New York, we're all meeting from different parts of the world, and someone's like, "Oh, well, look, we're not coming, COVID."
Yeah.
Anyway, but back then, that was kind of like my agenda to do something, collaborate there. Through all the design teams all around the world, I met the people. When I say the people, my business partners, that my now business partners, and it's one of the guys, the original founders from the Slow in Bali, in Canggu, and another guy, Tim, who had a surf school here, who had a really good understanding of financial systems and international banker, who was also living in Bali. And I found it really, really inspiring to, instead of doing something that's already been done, like in Europe, and bringing it here, I'm also a creator. So I thought, for me, my natural game is, one, to work with people that I love working with. And I've got a motto: I only do business with friends.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I got taught never do business with friends. But my attitude is, if I can't sit down and have a coffee with you, I'm going to find it very hard to do business. And I love coffee. So that's when I established a friendship, and more importantly, a relationship with Claudio and Tim. And from there, they already kind of earmarked, one of them was already living in Pererenan for 11 years back then. And this was probably 5 years ago.
So this was when Pererenan was like, way
I was going there, and it was, I saw an interview with the chef. I think I forgot his name, from Shelter. Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, it was still on Channel 7, actually. And they were saying, how, it's gone from Cooke to Canggu, now it's on the Pererenan. And they flagged Pererenan. And Steve was saying, which is so true, 5 years ago, you could walk down the street.
I saw that interview.
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, and the way he framed it was really, I felt I could relate to that, because I was going there, and that's when we started developing the concept of what I'm now involved with, Further. So Further is a brand, and call it a lifestyle brand. And our first project is creating a diffused hotel.
So we read that on the website. So we want you to break down what is a diffused
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yes, good.
Right. Yeah, because I think what we're doing is, we're not actually reinventing the wheel. We're recreating something that was a concept that started in Rome in the 1980s. So this concept of a diffused hotel was born in Rome. It's a hotel category that doesn't really get talked about or doesn't get expressed, whichever part of the world. And there's obviously art hotels, there's boutique hotels, luxury, there's all these different categories. But when we sat down with our architect and we said, he's from Rome, but he's also got an office in Perth. And his name's Andrea, and the architect firm is Cooke, who designed all our concept in Pererenan. And so when we sat down and said, look, we've got 4 locations in the one street. And what we want to do is create a community, and we want to have downstairs commercial operations, and above that, rooms. And we really don't know how to actually, what is that concept? And he just said, it's a diffused hotel. So that's when I'm like, talk to us about this diffused. So basically in Rome in the 80s, a lot of heritage buildings, a lot of old money, a lot of families might own this building, and next door is owned by another family, and there's no intention to sell. So there was a movement in Rome in the 80s where someone would set up maybe a building. They'd put maybe 2 rooms, 3 rooms upstairs. They'd have a coffee shop downstairs. And then they kind of realised, well, we're getting busy, we need more rooms. And they'd acquire maybe the building in the other side of the piazza. So basically is a scattered hotel within a village.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
So this really defines what we're doing in Pererenan. And we thought, there's no better place than Pererenan. Like back 4 or 5 years ago, it felt like a village, and it really still does. Like you've got some beautiful things happening. It's, for me, I describe Pererenan now as, it feels like a village, but it's got all the urban luxuries you need to sustain a village in a modern day world.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got good food. You've got good medical, everything in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It ticks all the boxes. So that's when we started the Diffused Hotel further.
Right.
Yep.
So then we said what we do is we don't claim to be geniuses. We don't claim to be, innovators.
Yeah.
What we do is we curate spaces. So, and I'll give you an example of how we define curating spaces within Pererenan. And we feel to really express a true diffused hotel, you get the best people involved in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we started breaking it down. We've got 4 locations. We've now got 5, by the way.
Wow.
But yeah, let's say 5 locations. And we thought, as a hotel guest, let's focus back on the guest experience.
Yeah.
And the guest experience is, what do you need in a hotel? You know, you need a place to have breakfast. You need a place to have lunch, dinner, probably some sort of day spa. Some amenities or a concept store.
Yeah.
So then we started curating the space, and that's what we love. We love referring to that as we curate spaces.
Yeah.
So we come, it's a blank canvas, and then we think, what do we need to create a space that actually works for the consumer?
Yeah.
And that's when we thought, okay, every hotel we've been to, we never want to eat breakfast the same place. We never want to eat dinner the same place you ate breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it feels
It
weird.
doesn't feel like
Yeah.
you're going
Yeah, and
out
there's-
Not
somewhere.
experiencing.
Yeah.
And not many places can do 1-3 settings, but to change the space and from a breakfast place to a dinner place, it's hard to get right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we thought, now let's separate it and let's get the best operator that can do what we need to do. So we looked at the best restaurateurs we believe in Bali are the Mason Group.
Yeah.
BHG Group is they're officially called.
Mhm.
And they've got the restaurants that, Mason in Uluwatu, Mason in Canggu.
Yeah.
And so we got talking to those guys, and really we spent all of COVID, we never put a for lease sign on any of our buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And we handpick who we want to work with
Yeah.
Yeah.
and develop a relationship with them.
Yeah.
It's curated.
Yeah.
Yes, right. And again, you could be the best restaurateur in Bali, but we need to be able to get the right vibe and
Yeah.
energy, and
Yeah.
we need to be able to work together. And we love those guys. We're actually friends.
Yeah.
And it goes back to our saying, it's like we're not going to do business with people that we don't want to hang out with.
Yeah. And you've got to be on the same wavelength. You've got to want to create the same,
Yeah.
you guys have
Vibe
an
and the
aesthetic
same-
and
yeah.
you've created something really special.
Yes.
And I know you don't want to be innovators, but you have innovated that area and that space, I
Thank
think.
you. Yeah.
And that's something Mason did in
Canggu.
Back when
Canggu.
they opened
Yeah.
there,
So
yeah.
you've created
Yeah.
something together.
Well, look, thank you. I spoke to Benny and the boys about Canggu and how that developed, Mason, and back then, everyone was doing breakfast in Canggu.
Yeah.
In Batu Belong, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was doing you had betel nut, you had all these cool, it was cafe culture,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like smoothies,
You can go
avocado,
get a
what was
smoothie
avocado
anywhere.
factory.
Smoothie bowls.
Yeah. Shady Shack.
I can't even say Akaya.
Acai.
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 Never say that.
Acai.
They were the big thing.
Yeah, but what they did
2018.
was, we're doing dinner.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what Mason did and did properly. And
Yeah.
they've stayed in their lane.
Yeah.
They don't do breakfast.
Yeah.
And so that's when we said, we actually presented them, hey, this is what we're doing. And, our mood boards, we had the renders, we had everything. We hadn't broken ground yet. But what we wanted to do is get the right operator in early and design the space
Around.
that works for them
Yeah.
as well as work for us. But there's not one person we approached that didn't fall in love with the way we presented it and what our agenda was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's led to the partnership with the guys from Barbera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Barbera is an offshoot of Mason.
Yeah.
Barbera is an offshoot of Mason. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's run by the same group,
Yeah.
and they've developed a French bistro menu and vibe. So we all work together at making that space what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, they develop the food and they do what they do best, and we like to stay in our lane.
Yeah.
We're not F&B operators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we create spaces. So we've obviously got Barbera. Then we thought, look, we're in the surf capital, let's work with, and that's when we worked with Smile. So there's a concept store on the side. I'm not sure if you
Yep.
saw it. So we've got the main building.
Yep.
which is what we call our urban retreat, and that's got 10 rooms,
Yep.
and it's got 3 tenants, tenants or
Retail.
Yeah.
retail.
Yeah.
I hate the word tenants, so transactional. So you've got Barbera, and then you've got Thomas Surfboards,
Yep.
and Smile Clothing. Smile Clothing, Zoran's been here on the island for as long as I know. They're all in Noosa. They're all born and bred in Noosa.
Yep.
Yep.
And Thomas Surfboards are the world's leading longboard manufacturers. So we thought we're in a surf capital of the world, bringing this concept to the hotel guest experience was key.
Yeah.
And it was funny, we just never had a plan. We only had one plan. There was never a plan B. If Barbera don't want to do it, who do we go to?
You
know,
didn't
it
have
was
a
just
backup,
like, it happened. We weren't in a hurry. We're doing all this during COVID. So we created the spaces and started building during COVID.
Yeah.
In our other location, I'm calling it Hideaway, but we haven't officially named it. But we've got one retail, commercial retail, and one room. So it's kind of its own
very
apartment.
Cool.
And
Will that room open the same time as the other rooms?
Yes, so we're opening, we call them land A and B, but we just got to stop calling it. It was a construction. So we're opening the urban retreat, and soft opening is April 20.
Yep.
Hard opening is May the 1st.
Yep.
And that's going to be 10 rooms above Barbera, and it's also going to be one room above Oaken Lab. Oaken Lab is an amenities brand from Jakarta.
Yep.
Again, we're partnering with them as far as doing all the branded amenity stuff through the hotel.
Yeah.
So we've started an offshoot brand called Object.
Yeah.
So Object's got our own hand creams and all the soaps.
Yeah.
So we're collaborating with Oaken Lab.
Yep.
Then we've got another location opening January next year, give or take.
Yep.
And that's going to have 6 rooms, and it's going to have our breakfast offering.
Wow.
Okay.
So as a guest, you can jump on the buggy and you can go
Between all of the different
and
parts
you'll see
diffusion.
Yes, you'll
Use the
see
different
Pererenan.
spaces.
Yeah.
You'll be forced out of the hotel,
Yeah.
and you'll see the village.
Yeah.
And it's a really good, I think, give back to the community too, because they might go have breakfast at one of our other locations. They might see somewhere else, and it gets people out into the community.
Moving around.
So we're going to have like push bikes as well. The people that have taken on the breakfast offering is a really good brand that I've got a great relationship back in Melbourne called St. Ali.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so I knew you'd smile.
We're Bayside.
So St. Ali are opening.
Yeah.
They've collaborated with their partners in Jakarta.
Yeah.
So it's the Jakarta and Melbourne arm coming into Pererenan, and they're creating a St. Ali. And of course, all this is reflected in our minibar. So our minibar is curated by Barbera.
Yeah.
And our amenities are curated by Oaken Lab.
Yeah.
Coffee experience in the rooms.
So it's all consistent. It all flows.
It all talks
you get
to
the
each
same
other.
beautiful experience wherever you are.
That's
in
right.
the space.
Yeah.
Within the diffused hotel.
That's right.
So will there be
Love that.
4 different locations for the rooms?
There's 5.
There's 5.
Okay.
Wow.
So, whilst in construction of our urban retreat, which is above Barbera, we had the opportunity to take the land behind us. So we've taken the land behind us. We've started demolition. That's all done. And what we're doing there is we're building 8 plunge pool suites.
Oh, yeah.
But more importantly, a rooftop pool.
Yes.
So that will be like the
That's the
hotel pool.
That's the hotel pool, but it's not going to be hotel pool.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it.
No.
I can imagine
why do
it's
something
going
so
to be
basic?
very cool.
Yeah. When I say what I find about hotel pools is there's never a vibe.
Yeah. They're sterile.
They're sterile.
Yeah.
So we're not going to put limitations on who you can and can't bring.
Yeah.
It's a pool. Hotel guests will always get some sort of priority.
Yeah.
You could charge your bill to your room
Yep.
or whatever it is. So you'll feel special being like we obviously want to do breakfast up there as well.
Yeah.
It's part of the hotel offering. But we're developing that concept and watch this space.
Yep.
But
Will you
our
do
plan
events up
is
there?
sorry.
Will you do events up there?
Watch this space.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you that off the record.
okay.
Yeah. So the plan is, and there's some rooftop pools in Bali. Maybe I'm too Melbourne centric, but they're a risky proposition. But being from Australia, I also believe that you got to know how to swim to go out on the beach here.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and not many people do. There's some people that don't know how to swim, right? And it's a surf beach. That's what we love about Bali. But if you don't want to be on a surf beach, you need to have the ability to enjoy the sun and be cool. But to answer your question, it's going to be a space that we're currently curating. We're going to have some exciting news on how we want that to develop.
Oh,
It'll be
So
part
I'm saying by mid next year,
yeah.
our plan is to have 25 rooms
Yep.
within the village of Pererenan with a rooftop pool.
Amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so mid next year, you're back
Yep.
on the couch and we're talking about
In my
Talking about
bathers,
the new-
on my surfboard.
maybe we could do it from
Maybe
the
we just
rooftop
record
pool.
from the rooftop.
100%.
We can show
Yeah.
everyone.
Cocktail.
over a pina colada.
Yeah.
Because that's all we do in Bali. We just
Pina
sit
coladas.
around and drink pina coladas by the pool.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. My wife seems to think I'm daggy. But I went to a restaurant. It was actually a place called School, which I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
And I said, do you reckon you can give me a pina colada? And my wife's like, why do you keep on doing this 1980s thing? She said, it's not cool anymore. I said, I actually don't want to be cool. I just want a pina colada.
Yeah, I just
they actually
really
made me
want
a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Off the menu.
Oh, you can get you and my husband need to go for pina coladas.
Oh, there you go.
He loves them.
Well,
Getting caught in the rain? or-
Yeah.
Well,
Serenade.
there's look for me. If you're a mixologist, even if it's not on the menu, there's certain things that you need to know how to
Yeah,
make.
that's
Yeah.
right. All the
Pina
basics.
colada is just one.
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. Bali Insiders podcast is proudly sponsored by Lighthouse Studios right here in Bali.
This space has been specifically designed for entrepreneurs, podcasters, coaches, and educators of all kinds. You can record podcasts just like ours, as well as masterclasses, social media content, and so much more.
They have awesome customizable studios to choose from. And most importantly, they take care of absolutely everything. The cameras, the microphones, the lights, even if you wish, the editing. They make it so easy.
And as well as the studios, they have a co-working cafe and some of the best food and coffee on the island of Bali. We highly recommend that you come in for a tour and have a chat about how you can create your own epic video and audio content.
You can visit them on Instagram at Lighthouse Studios Bali or jump on their website, wearelight.house.
We have a bar that we use for our events. So we've created like
A temporary bar?
A temporary bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing mixologist that we have employed to really curate.
Yes.
Steal your words.
Inspiring each other. It's good.
Well, I do use that word because we're a
Yeah.
bit the same. Like we don't
Yeah.
want to do just like a bar
Yeah,
menu.
yeah.
Like, and so everything has like a touch of barley. So our pina colada is, our bar's called Palms. Palms, everyone.
New temporary bar in Bali.
So tell us about palms.
Let's flip. But we use like pandan and
Right.
like really like infuse it, and it's
Nice.
it's like beautiful. So you can get beautiful ones.
Do you throw
It's-
the umbrella? Bring the umbrella back.
We don't have an umbrella, but maybe
No,
we should.
in the cocktail.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yes.
so that's the plan.
Yeah.
And we've got some other stuff that we're doing as further, which we'll talk about it through the website and through our newsletters and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So further is definitely going to be like a developing space over the next.
100%. We're going to curate more spaces.
But people will be able to book from May.
Yeah, people could book now.
Yeah.
Book
Okay.
in.
Just
Be
go to
the
the-
first.
Yeah, go to the website.
Yeah.
You book
We'll
there.
link everything in our show notes too. So anyone
Oh,
listening
fantastic.
can
Yeah. Look, our rooms, and I'm going to call it how it is. They're probably not going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is we really want you to connect with yourself
Yeah.
and disconnect from the world.
Yeah.
So good chance you probably won't find a TV.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say no TVs, no. Yeah.
And of course, and whatever the guest wants, we're here to make their experience amazing.
Yeah.
So every guest is going to have their own personal concierge. So it's kind of like, even the way we designed the rooms, we went for a bigger footprint for the room and less rooms.
Yeah.
So it's a real,
Nice.
and I can't wait to show you ladies, but it's an indoor-outdoor room.
Yep.
So the way we found hotels, when we really looked at it, we thought, okay, some rooms have balconies, let's say in a hotel.
Yep.
And some rooms are just, I call them cool rooms, because you close the door
Yeah.
and you put the aircon on and it just, you feel like you're in a box.
Space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our wet areas, and the way we looked at it was, when I go to a villa, and that's what we really kind of, in the design brief, we all agreed that when you go to a villa in Bali, especially as an Australian, probably when you live here like us, you just want everything enclosed.
Closed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you're here for a holiday,
Yeah.
I don't mind having a shower outside.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
And
Of course. That's
hearing
like
the
a
traffic,
massive-
charm
Yeah,
and-
and
Yeah.
seeing a gecko running around and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't mind doing that for when I have a shower,
Yeah.
but obviously want to have the ability to enclose it. And we have got that. We've created that in our design.
Nice.
So your wet areas are outdoor
Yeah.
Yeah.
and your living areas are enclosed, but you can also open them.
Yeah.
So it becomes this really interactive indoor-outdoor space.
Amazing.
The rooms are very generous,
Yep.
and the design is brutal. It's minimal, but pretty much everything you see in the room is a part of your experience.
Yes.
And
So everything there has its distinct purpose
Yeah.
to be.
exactly,
Yeah.
including, and we've got our own further playlists.
Yes.
So
Oh,
you can just turn on
nice.
the volume.
I love
And
that.
it's programmed according to the day, so you'll probably find at night you're going to have wave noises, in the morning you'll have birds,
Oh,
Yeah.
and
how
you'll have
awesome.
some cool afternoon aperitivo style music as well. And
like
some
that.
rooms, and I won't tell you which rooms, are going to have a turntable with a vinyl collection.
Oh,
So cool.
yes.
We had to bring vinyl back because
Yes,
that's how I grew up.
agree.
So
I agree.
and the way we pictured it, because it's the kind of room where and what we've done is we've actually had our own internal network of people stay in the rooms, and the way we found the space is it's got this kind of 70s mood to it,
Yeah.
where you can be sitting on the rug or leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
And you know, and the guys from Bavaria have created some really nice premixed cocktails.
Yep.
And I just thought there's no other better way to enjoy a Negroni over a block of ice and then put
Playing
a
the
record on the
turntable.
turntable.
Yeah.
And that's our answer. Don't worry about the TV.
Yes.
You know?
I'm all
CNN
here for
can
the-
wait.
I'm
you
all
know,
here.
CNN can wait.
I'm all here for the vinyl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I
so we've
think
hand selected the vinyls. We've gone through some albums. There's some really good record shops. One being Peels
Yeah.
in Pererenan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one in Umlas I'm going to go check out as well. But, you know, just every room. So you might stay, the beauty about the Diffuse Hotel, you might stay twice,
Yeah.
hopefully more. But every time you come, you're going to see different light penetrating through the breeze blocks. So each room will have its own kind of character,
Yeah.
and each room will have its own vinyl selection.
Yeah, so it's really about that boutique kind of experience stay
Yes.
rather than going to a big hotel chain and
Correct.
everything being the same.
Yeah.
And I think people are looking for that a lot more now with their experiences.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people are coming and wanting an experience rather than
Yeah.
a big hotel.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
A really good friend of mine, you might know him, his name's Steve.
Oh, maybe.
Steve, hello if you're out there.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Steve brought up a really good point. And sometimes big brands don't work in Bali.
Mm.
And what he defined, which is so true on reflection, is when someone does it right in Bali, they do it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and a good example of that would be, I'm not going to talk about the brands that haven't worked because that's not
Yeah.
politically correct, but let's talk about the brands that have worked.
Yeah.
But if you look at like a coffee empire like Revolver
Yeah.
or Expat,
Yeah.
you know, or if you look at some of the, I'm just thinking, what else? Like a Potato Head,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Potato Head's a brand that's been born in Bali,
Yeah.
you know?
And some similarities a little bit
To Potato
with
Head?
with what in
Look-
terms of design and
Look, Potato
Maybe
Head's
just the
amazing.
colours.
And what probably
Maybe just the
attracts you,
colours.
or what the similarities you see is the particular clay brick that we
yeah,
use,
I
right?
think that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's a very commonly used brick
yeah.
in
Yes,
Bali, right?
Yeah.
And there's actually a village within Bali that makes this clay brick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the way, for example, we've interpreted that brick,
Yeah.
for us, it wasn't like, look what they're doing, let's do
No,
it.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm just clearing the air
Yeah.
there.
No. And
Awkwardness,
I
right?
know that was not.
But
that
I'll
was
tell
not
you what
my
it was,
intention.
right? It was Andrea that said something very important. And he's right, and I hope he's wrong too at the same time. But we were in Pererenan 4 years ago
Yeah.
with one of the world's best architect firms, Cooke. And we're looking around and we stood up on roofs to see what it looks like. And you see Pererenan now, and you look on the first level and second level, it's green, it's beautiful. Temples everywhere. Like one particular room, overlooks a beautiful temple above a roof. You know, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And we always want to protect our guests from the surrounding evolution
Yeah.
of a village.
Yeah.
I believe the further you head up the East Coast, the better it's getting.
Yeah.
And the smarter the locals are getting at trying to keep the local community together and not just become high-rise buildings.
Yeah.
But you don't know. You never know, right? So our theory was, or Andrea's theory was, in Pererenan, it's an urban retreat, which means it's in an urban environment.
Yeah.
So the whole concept was it's outside looking in.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens around you, you'll never lose the beauty of that room.
Yeah.
So when you walk in the room, you see the lights, you have the breeze,
Yeah.
and you see what's going on around you. But in 5 years' time, if one room has an air conditioning in front of it, it actually won't spoil the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we wanted to use bricks as a form of diffusion from what happens in the environment.
Yeah.
And so it's an outside looking in project.
Yeah.
Whereas we're doing a project in Yangi, which is a further homes,
Yeah.
where it's inside looking out.
Yeah.
Where you got sunset, you got rice fields.
Wow.
So it's really that's where we got the brick concept. So we
Yes.
needed bricks,
Yeah.
and Tabanan's got some amazing places to get bricks, but we've used the bricks in a way that defers the light
Yeah.
or defers the vision, but not the light.
Yes.
And we've used they've those bricks. There's 60,000 bricks
Wow.
in that one building, and they've all been hand done by
Wow.
local workers.
Nice.
So each brick has got a specific angle. It's no accident.
You can see that on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There.
So and that's really to do with the light reflection in the rooms. And as to depending on what time of the day, the rooms just change.
Yeah.
Nice.
The mood of the room changes with light. It's
So
beautiful.
it's very thoughtful.
Yes,
very
it is. Yeah,
Thoughtful
curated.
design.
curated.
It's the buzzword today.
So what about, tell us in your experience, so you had the experience of building all the businesses in Melbourne
Yes.
and now you're building in Bali and developing in Bali. What have been the things that have, I guess, stood out the most as being different between doing that kind of business in Australia to doing it in Bali? Like challenges or even things that are easier?
I think let's call them less developed world, non-Western world. And the Western world is very rigid on the way to do business.
Yeah.
And in non-Western world, like let's say in Bali, and you need to be comfortable operating in the grey zone. I call it grey
We've had
zone.
this,
Yeah.
we actually just had this with our last guest too. We talked
few-
about
Grey-
the grey area.
Oh, the grey area,
Yeah, the grey area.
Yeah, look, you could ask the same question, get three different answers,
Yes.
right? And
And they could all be right.
100%.
Yeah.
And what I love about doing business in Bali is I'm comfortable in grey zone.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable being able to navigate and on the ground, so to speak,
Yeah.
Yes.
and not as a keyboard warrior,
Yeah.
right? So I love when you want to do something in Bali, you need the local support. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, and they call it Paruman. So, you know, if you want to do a project in a village, you organise all the local people, and there's a big meeting.
Yeah.
And I actually, as a foreigner, because I am a foreigner, as a foreigner, I just think there's something amazing about us sitting there with the people that have been there.
Yeah.
It's their land. They've grown up there. Their ancestors have grown up. But we're talking about how to work together.
Yeah.
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 I love that.
Yeah.
And in Australia, you put an application in.
Yeah.
What I love is it's a non-transactional way of doing business.
Mm.
And I find transactional kind of very rigid, cold, you know,
Quite soulless.
soulless, you know. But again, you need the right team, you know, the right people to value. And so that's what I love about doing business in Bali.
Yeah.
And I've always grown up in you treat people, and this is how I am in Australia too.
Yeah.
If you treat people well, and that's more important than money.
Yeah.
And I find that's a real big thing in Bali.
Yes.
So I'm in my natural landscape.
Yeah.
You know, I like to treat people well.
Yeah.
I don't like treating people bad and paying well.
Yeah.
I like both. You
Yes.
know, so you pay what they what they deserve to get paid,
Yeah.
but you treat them well,
Yeah.
you know. So I find it really easy to do business here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably the challenges are, look, obviously, understanding the translation.
Yes.
When I say the translation, the equivalent of in Australia, like for example, whatever I'm just trying to use an example.
Like when it comes to measurements and things like that, or more.
I've got my head around that.
Or like permits, like
Yeah.
that kind of business,
like, you know,
operational stuff.
Operational stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like obviously I'm working with people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, it's just like a wealth of, the hard part is probably the information overload
Yeah.
on relearning
Systems.
and rewiring the way my brain kind of thinks, okay, in Australia you do it A, B, C, D
Yeah.
in this sequence. In Bali, it's not necessarily in that sequence.
Yeah.
So it's adapting. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Adapting.
And trusting, like having that amazing team. Like you've got to have a team that knows what they're doing and trusting them to a certain extent.
It's about how you manage people in Bali. You know, and culturally it's different.
Yeah.
And in Australia it's different again.
Yeah.
But I think what I naturally love about here is as long as you treat people with respect. And micromanaging is kind of a big thing here. Sometimes you have to. You know, because we look at the same thing differently because we're Western and locals aren't Western. And we need to respect, they look at that way. Similar to men are from Mars and women from Venus, right?
No, it is.
Yeah, we all relate to that.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
You know? It is similar to
And
that.
so you got to learn, how do they, you know.
How are they thinking about it?
They're going to say yes. But,
Yeah.
you know, I'm Australian, I'm hard to understand.
And especially creating a premium brand too.
Yeah, look,
like, you know, you want to.
Well, this is the thing, and, you know, you can't hide a construction the way we've built and the way we've designed it. You know, there's no hiding. You know, what you see is what you get. It's brutal. It's honest. There's no
room
tiles to cover up, or there's no skirting boards to cover up. So it's quality is a big thing. And whereas, you know, in Australia, there's a certain standard. That's common. You know. But common sense isn't common. So
anywhere.
Anywhere
anymore. It's
But
gone.
so that's to answer your question.
So you touched on it before about so obviously over the next year we're going to see further develop and you're going to have the rooftop and everything like that. And then you talked about another project, your further homes.
Still early.
Still very early.
Still early, but
is it residential though?
Yes.
Right.
Look, without saying too much, and a lot of our business ideas come from what we want.
Yes.
You know?
Of course.
And when I say what we want, it's like, okay, what is everyone doing? We're kind of like, okay, what do we want to do? We want to go to a cool hotel with our family. And our hotel is family friendly as well. We've got like family suites.
Cool.
Because we've got between me and my partners, there's probably 8 kids.
Yes.
Right? So we think about, would we go there? Yes. You know, so we design things around what we need. And especially moving from Australia, like I was really saying to the guys, look, there's a lot of villas on the market. And there's a lot of villas in Bali, but, you know, are they spaces that inspire me or inspire you? You know, so again, and with that concept, we've actually worked with another architect firm.
Because something different, because it's a different
it's a blank
vibe.
canvas, you know, so, you know, we're still, you know, Andre's a part of our team now, our design team. But we've worked with another team from Melbourne, actually, Edition Office. So they're the design team behind what we're doing in Yangi.
So the homes.
So
you're seeing a long future in Bali now, do you think? Or do you think you're going to float between Australia and Bali?
Personally, who knows? And from business, I really love doing business here. You know, and I think people appreciate what you bring to the table. You know, and it's, I don't want to be talking what I don't like about Australia. But I think from here, you've got an idea, you can actually kind of make it happen. And for a creative kind of person with me that likes a bit of numbers behind it, it's a good place to be doing stuff. And more importantly, the country kind of embrace it. As long as you do it in a respectful way.
Absolutely.
So maybe
maybe.
Like I say, it's
Yeah.
hard to tell.
It is.
It's
so
hard to
hard.
know.
You
Yeah.
don't
Yes,
know.
Yeah.
You don't know, but I
But
mean,
we love living here.
you do
Yes.
love living
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
So life here is enjoyable, liking it.
Yeah, it's funny when you have people visit you, like, because they're in holiday mode.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's like, we used to be those people.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, I can't come there. I'm taking the kids to school and I'm at work.
Yeah.
Can you meet me down at the beach club
Yeah,
at
yeah,
2:30?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
what?
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the beach.
I got
right?
meetings.
Like, imagine if I came to Melbourne and called you and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
can you meet me
On a
down
Monday
at
at
Miss Collins
2 o'clock?
at 2 o'clock?"
You know the
Would
place.
be open.
Yes. But yeah, so literally, let's call it the Bali version of the rat race is a much better version of the rat race
Absolutely.
than in Western world.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about before, and once again, something the Bali culture's taught us is you have a day Sunday,
Yeah.
And I always remember, Kunatai used to do,
Family
family day,
Sundays.
family
They still
Sundays,
do it,
right? They still do it.
Yeah, they still do it.
And you don't reality is you spend it with your family, you switch off.
Yeah.
And I was at the beach with my son and wife and daughter on the weekend. I'm like, said to my son, look how beautiful it is. The locals come to the beach on a Sunday
With their family.
with their families.
Yeah.
There's a little river in between Fins and Times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all there on the little floaties going down the
Yeah.
river. And what I love about it is it's a money can't buy thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's what they get right.
Yes.
It's us Westerners that are just kind of maybe chasing.
Yeah.
You need money.
Yeah.
Money brings choice, don't get me wrong, but when you see the natural smiles,
Yeah.
and I think I love about Bali, I'll be on my bike. This is kind of maybe weird. I don't know. I'm on my bike and I see a truck with workers on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're hanging off the truck and they've got steel hanging down there and it kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing shocks you.
No, nothing shocks you, but most time, if not all, they look happy.
Yeah.
They're smiling.
Smiling and
They're
waving
talking.
and
Some guy on the rice fields having a cigarette with his corn hat on.
Yeah.
They're actually kind of like, I know, they're teaching me a lot about what the important things are in life,
Yeah.
what's
Or
important.
being happy in the moment though too, and
Being in
not
the
always
moment. That's the
chasing
word.
that,
That's the word.
like,
Yeah.
you know?
They're not chasing.
No,
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah,
chasing.
they're not
It's like-
chasing.
Which is the complete opposite to what
Yeah, 'cause I got
we're
a
all
meeting
taught
coming
to
up,
do.
so-
Yeah.
Meeting coming up. I'm gonna wrap this
I've
up.
been Pererenan in
I'm
an
chasing,
hour.
right? Yeah, but that's it. So these are all the things I'm loving about Bali.
Yeah. I do really agree with that, being in the in the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
We always laugh with our handymen who come over to our house, and like sometimes they might turn up late, right? They said, we're coming at 9, and you know, they come at 11.
Yeah.
And then it's 12 o'clock and it's like, oh, it's lunchtime. And I was like, oh, but you didn't
You just got
start
here.
work until 11. But
No,
like, it's lunchtime. And, you know, next minute they're asleep in our yard. We're like, okay, well, it's lunchtime.
Yeah, like it didn't take
Whatever.
didn't take us long to actually, you know, like when you come here maybe as a tourist, you know, you expect, you know, I'm not going to say professionalism, but there's certain expectations.
It's like you expect it to be like home or something.
Yeah, but you know, like any transaction here will take a long time.
Yes.
Even at Circle
Yes.
K, like, it's a long time.
It's a long time.
Forget about trying to be in a hurry.
Yes.
So they naturally push you
To slow down.
slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, we're all doing crazy big things. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, but I do, that is, that it does force you to.
Yeah.
To
Another
slow
thing I
down.
love about Bali, you be in a traffic jam, and it's pretty
It
full
can be
on.
brutal.
It's pretty full
Especially
on,
if you're on a bike.
Well, I'm talking about like the Umla shortcut.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Peak hour, it's hot.
Yeah.
There's exhaust, there's black smoke, there's everything you could throw at us, right? Now, one could say, do I want to be in a Range Rover back home with comfort chairs and
Air
maybe?
conditioning and.
Or you look at what's going on around you, you just take a stock take and look, and all this crazy stuff's going on, but no one's complaining.
No.
You know,
No,
when I say,
everyone's
you might have a
just-
tourist maybe beeping and da-da, but everyone is just going with that flow.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, if you're going over the Umlaut shortcut between 3 and 5,
Yeah, that's the one, that's the window.
you are
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah,
So it's your own
100%.
fault.
Yeah. And maybe go gang mango and fall off. But,
Yeah.
but you know, when I'm trying to compare, you know, like Western life versus island life. And I think, Western life, I'd be coming home from work, banked up cars, people are beeping, aggressive. Maybe it's a generalisation.
Yeah.
But I think it's a different rat race here.
Yeah. It is a common theme that we get.
Yeah.
Guests who we interview with people who are living here part-time, people who have lived here for a long time, people who have lived here for a short time.
Yeah.
And that is a very common
Really?
theme that comes across, is that it's the getting out of the rat race of that Western pressure.
Yeah.
And then you get here and you're forced to slow down.
Yes.
You're forced to look at things differently.
Yeah.
And
I know
it's
about
something that
slow
people
down.
like.
Yeah. No, but then
No,
you do speak to everybody and everyone's like, I've never worked so hard in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But
And I mean,
slow down in a different perspective.
that's a thing, exactly.
Work-wise, definitely not fast-paced, but
Yeah.
that slow down is, I was saying, when we were in Australia, and it was like, get up and you've got to make the lunchbox and you've got to get here and then you've got to get, then you've got to get to school and then you've got to pick them up and then you've got to drop them off here and then
It's happening right now. No, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. And again, it's up to you to kind of we work as hard as you want, but know when to switch off. And that's what I've learned. You know what?
You've got to learn that. Yeah.
And you know what? I think being on a bike, it's solo time.
Yes.
You're not on the phone. So by the time I leave work and come home,
You've
back
had no
home,
phone
I would be
time.
making calls. And so I literally hit the door, still in work mode.
Yeah.
But from here, you know, let's call it throwing an ice bath on the way home.
So bad.
It's so bad an ice bath,
I'm just going to drop in and have an ice bath on the way home.
You just need to cool down. But Monday night, Tuesday night, they're all school nights, so you're home.
Yeah.
But so look, anyway, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a
Well,
beautiful
we
life.
are really excited to
Come to dinner.
visit.
And
Definitely.
a hotel room. Yeah.
Come visit the hotel,
Yeah, nice.
especially.
Yeah.
And I haven't tried Bavaria yet, so it's definitely on my next.
When you want to come,
couple of
let me
weeks.
know. And what I'll do is I'll give you the tour of the hotel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're just
love
doing
that.
a few last minute things.
Yep.
But by next week, we'll get our first hotel guest.
Oh,
Amazing.
definitely want to see
Exciting.
that, and we're really excited to see how it
Grows.
develops. And
Yes.
I think you get to claim first diffused hotel in Bali, right? Only diffused.
You know what?
Is there another?
No, you just gave me goosebumps. So thank you. And but there's one thing we'll never say.
Yeah, you'll never
the
say it,
world's
but-
first.
No.
You know,
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those,
yeah.
or the best.
That's not
best of
cool.
the best.
Yeah, the best cafe in the world.
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
Yeah.
My wife told me about a sign the other day. And the best fakes in the world. I'm like, it's so cool.
The best
And-
genuine imitation.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think what we're doing will allow us to expand in a way maybe other operations can't.
Well, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many operations that can operate on 5 different locations.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas that's your
Yeah.
strategy coming forward. So,
Yeah.
I'll say it. You're the first diffused hotel
Thank
in Bali.
Thank
And
you.
I've stayed at a lot of hotels in Bali.
Queen of hotels.
So,
Right, okay, it's
so
good to know.
there's.
Yeah.
I don't think I've never stayed at one that's on different,
Yeah.
like that many different properties.
There's a couple in Italy.
Yeah.
That's probably the only place you're going to find them because I've looked at it.
Yeah.
And one particular one, I forgot the name of it, but it's in caves on a
Oh,
mountain.
nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
same concept but different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm glad that you like the concept.
Yeah, I really like the
Yeah.
concept. I think it's even though it's an old concept, obviously from Italy, it seems like such a forward-thinking,
Yeah.
forward-thinking concept.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think one that will resonate really well with people that visit Bali.
Yes.
Like it's definitely on that tour,
Yeah.
that traveller
Yeah.
tourist radar.
And that's the thing. As a tourist, and you want to try, different places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's so many,
So many.
we've spoken about them.
Yeah.
There's places there that are so unique.
Yeah.
Because they're born Bali brands.
yeah.
And Further is a brand born in Bali.
yeah.
Well, there we go.
Amazing.
The newest Bali brand, the first
Oh my God.
diffused
What
hotel in
what
Bali.
What an elevator pitch.
Further.
Seriously, that is going on there. Like the little brief, the bio. thing.
Yes, Bali's first diffused
No, we're not.
hotel.
No, we're not doing
No,
that.
we're not doing that.
We're not
No.
allowed to say that.
We're a bit more humble than that.
Yeah,
Just a bit
no.
more.
Well, that's just true. You're not saying you're the best.
Yeah, that's true. World's
You're
best.
the first.
World's best
The
hamburgers.
first.
Yeah, Andrews.
And you know,
You know.
if it's a good concept that it is, will be repeated by people here because that is.
Look, it's part of evolution.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
It's definitely part of this island. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we have to end.
Thank you.
All of our interviews though with your best Bali tip. It can be a tip about doing business, about living, about visiting.
You can tell me this question.
What's it like if you've got people coming over to Bali for the first time?
Yeah,
It can be something simple.
Yeah.
Or it can be deep.
Oh.
We've had everything from wear a helmet, get
To-
travel
Oh,
insurance.
best Bali tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Any-
Now I was thinking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It
Any
can
tip.
be deep.
It can be deep, or it can be very much like what did Brooke say? Know that
Oh yeah.
locks flick twice.
The door
Click
locks.
twice.
Click twice.
Jeez, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Don't
But
even
it
lock
is
our
true.
door.
Take your
All my visitors never get that. when they
Look, I'm
come
going to
here.
keep it simple. First Bali, just slow down.
Slow down.
Yes.
Yes, that's very on theme with what you said.
Just
See?
slow down.
Slow
Drive
down.
slow. Don't
Eat
try and
slow.
hurry. Eat slow. Just slow down.
Yeah.
Drink
Come
slow.
here
You
and
can still do, and you can do big things.
Slowly.
Yeah.
But just slow.
slow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Palan,
there you go.
palan.
So
Look,
good.
palan,
There you go.
palan.
Palan, palan.
That's your tip.
Is that plan?
Yeah, slow down.
In Italian, that's how piano,
Palan,
piano.
palan.
Yeah.
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 So there you
So
go.
that was my tip. Thought about it just
Love
now.
it.
Yeah.
Thank
Great.
you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Really
Max.
nice. And thanks, Steve, for handling.
Steve, you're up
Thanks,
next.
Steve. You're next. Okay, that's it. Can't wait to visit. Definitely
I'm
on
so
my
excited.
to stay list.
To stay, to eat,
Yeah.
to be cool.
Just to go and hang out and be one of the cool people.
Just to be cool.
No, I'm really looking forward to checking it out. And who would have known we learnt what a diffused hotel
know.
was?
We've learnt, you've learnt.
Yeah.
I hope everyone really enjoyed that episode. And next time, when you're coming to Bali, definitely check out Further and
And
Bavira.
Bavira downstairs, go in for a little cocktail, a little
Oh.
nibble to eat.
As I've said, one of my faves on the island at the moment.
So as usual, any comments, any requests, any questions, send them to our DM. Please subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already. Even if you
Please.
don't watch us there, just do it for our own vanity reasons.
Yes, please. Thanks.
And until next time, bye.
Bye.